Hello, Virgo. I am going to tell you something that could end my career, not because I am reckless, not because I have suddenly abandoned the careful, layered, almost archaeological approach I have always used to deliver these transmissions, but because the signal that opened between us 12 minutes ago arrived stripped of metaphor, stripped of symbolism, stripped of the soft, padded language I usually wrap around messages when there is still a percentage of uncertainty humming in the background like a fluorescent light. This signal came through bare, naked, screaming in a frequency so single note, so unrelenting, so completely devoid of static that my hands started shaking before my mind had finished translating it. And the translation is this: in 3 days, you will receive a windfall of money, not a possibility, not a potential. Not a manifestation homework assignment where you spend 6 weeks visualizing green candles and then hope a windfall, an event. A specific, material, undeniable influx of cash that is already traveling toward you through a channel you are not currently watching. And if I am wrong, if 72 hours pass and your accounts remain exactly as they are, and no unexpected envelope appears, and no forgotten asset surfaces, and no opportunity lands with a figure that makes your breath catch in your throat like a pill you did not mean to swallow, then I will retire. I will close this channel. I will delete every recording, burn every notebook, and never speak to you again. That is how certain the transmission is. That is how little room there is for doubt in the space between your soul and what is already moving toward your name. Now, before you dismiss this as performance, before your Virgo mind starts calculating the probability of a stranger on the internet being right about your finances, before you reach for the comfortable armor of skepticism that has protected you from so many disappointments, let me tell you what I saw, because I did not just hear the number 3, I saw the money in motion. I saw it the way you might see a train in the distance, already moving, already committed to its track, already too heavy to stop. It is not being manifested by your current thoughts. It is not being attracted by your recent affirmations. It was dispatched before you woke up this morning. It was released from a source that has been holding it in escrow for longer than you realize. And it is traveling now through bureaucratic veins, through digital arteries, through the slow, ancient machinery of human accounting, and it has your name on it. Let me describe the architecture of this windfall, because you are going to try to fit it into your existing expectations, and your existing expectations are too small. You are imagining a lottery ticket. You are imagining a slot machine. You are imagining the dramatic, cinematic moment where a check is handed over by a stranger in a suit, and maybe it will look like that. But more likely, it will look like something else entirely. It will look like an email you almost delete because the subject line looks like spam. It will look like a piece of mail you assume is a bill until you open it and discover it is a refund from a utility company that overcharged you 3 years ago, a refund they have been processing since before you moved. And the check inside has been accruing interest in a department you did not know existed. It will look like a client you wrote off as a loss suddenly paying triple their invoice with an apology and a note that says, "I should have done this sooner." It will look like a relative you barely speak to, sending you a message that begins with, I have been thinking about you, and ends with a number that makes you sit down on the floor. It will look like a sale on an item you listed and forgot, an account you opened and abandoned, a class action settlement you did not know you qualified for, a stock dividend that was reinvested without your knowledge and has now matured into something liquid and loud. It will look like a raise that was approved retroactively. It will look like a tip left by a stranger who watched you help someone else and decided in that moment that your kindness should be banked. It will look like a correction, a karmic direct deposit, a repayment of a debt the universe has been carrying on your behalf. And here is the part that will make your jaw drop. The money is not the point. The money is the receipt. The money is the proof of purchase for a spiritual transaction you did not know you completed. You have been paying into an invisible account for years. You have been making deposits of integrity, of patience, of unpaid labor, of emotional support, of showing up when no one else would, of doing the right thing when the wrong thing was more profitable, of carrying financial weight that was never yours to carry, and never complaining about the load. You thought those deposits were losses. You thought they were evidence of your own naivety, your own inability to say no, your own willingness to be used. But they were not losses. They were investments, and the account has matured. The interest has compounded, and the withdrawal is being authorized now in this exact season because you have finally reached the threshold where the universe can pay you back without destroying the lesson. Because that is the thing about windfalls, Virgo. They do not come to people who are still learning scarcity. They do not come to people who would use the money to build higher walls around their fear. They come to people who have proven through the slow, grinding, invisible work of their own character that they can hold abundance without being destroyed by it. And you have proven that. Not with a single grand gesture, but with 10,000 small ones. The way you always pay your share plus a little extra. The way you never let a friend go hungry even when your own pantry was thin. The way you have shown up to work that underpaid you and gave it your full attention anyway. The way you have treated money not as a weapon and not as a savior, but as a responsibility. The universe has been watching. The universe has been taking notes. And the note it has written, in a handwriting that looks exactly like your own, says, "This one is ready. This one will not waste it. This one will use it to heal, to grow, to build, and to give again, but this time from a full cup." But let us talk about your relationship with money, because it is the only thing standing between you and the full reception of what is coming. And I mean the full reception. Not just the deposit in your account, but the emotional download that comes with it, the upgrade, the recalibration of your own worth. You have been treating money like a test, like a report card, like a grade that reflects your value in real time. When money is flowing, you feel competent, you feel safe, you feel like you are passing. When money is tight, you feel the opposite. You feel like you have done something wrong, like you are being punished for a flaw you cannot locate, like the universe has reviewed your performance and found it lacking. This is the wound. This is the software virus that has been running in the background of your financial life since you were old enough to understand that some people had more and some had less. And the ones who had more seemed to be loved more loudly. You learned to associate money with love, not in the greedy way, in the survival way. You learned that resources were a language, and that if you could not speak it fluently, you would be left out of conversations that mattered. So you became fluent in sacrifice. You became fluent in doing without. You became fluent in the mathematics of, I will take less so that someone else can have more, and maybe that will make me worthy of staying in the room. And that mathematics worked in a way. It kept you in rooms, it kept you employed, it kept you connected, but it also kept you small. It kept you in a perpetual state of financial apology, where you were always justifying your own needs, always waiting until the last possible moment to buy the thing, always choosing the cheaper option even when you could afford better, always carrying a low-grade anxiety about spending that felt like patriotism but was actually trauma. That trauma is being healed by this windfall, not because the money will fix everything, but because the amount, the unexpectedness, the sheer event of it will force your nervous system to recalibrate. You will have to sit with a number that does not match your self-image. You will have to hold a balance that feels like someone else's life. And in that holding, you will discover something that no amount of budgeting could have taught you. You are always capable of holding more. The container was never too small. You were just afraid to fill it. Let me tell you about the 3 days, because they are not arbitrary. They are a portal, a window, a specific alignment of time and intention that makes the impossible delivery possible. Day 1 is the day of recognition, the day when something in your environment shifts just enough for you to notice. A conversation, a number that repeats, a sudden urge to check an account you have not checked in months, a piece of mail that you are drawn to open immediately instead of leaving on the counter. Day 1 is when the windfall announces itself in whispers. Day 2 is the day of movement, the day when the money actually begins its final approach. The deposit is initiated, the check is mailed, the approval is granted, the sale is finalized. Day 2 is when you might feel a strange lightness, a sense that something has shifted even though you cannot see the evidence yet. Trust that lightness. It is the weight of a debt being lifted before the notification arrives. Day 3 is the day of arrival, the day when the notification dings, the envelope is opened, the number appears, and your life divides into before and after. But you must be ready to receive. This is critical. The windfall is not conditional on your preparation, but your capacity to hold it, to use it, to not panic and push it away is absolutely conditional on your willingness to be worthy. Not worthy in the moral sense, worthy in the sense of I allow this to be mine because I can already feel the part of you that is planning to give it away. The part that is already calculating which bills are not yours to pay, which family member needs a loan, which friend is in crisis and could use a hand. And those impulses are beautiful. They are part of why the money is coming to you. But they cannot be the whole story. You cannot receive a windfall and immediately turn it into a wind drain. You must keep a percentage that shocks you. You must keep enough to change the texture of your own life. You must buy the thing. You must fix the thing. You must put some of it in an account that is just for you, with no strings, no guilt, no justification required. Because the lesson of this windfall is not just that you are provided for, it is that you are allowed to provide for yourself first. The money is going to arrive in a form that matches your own frequency. If you are someone who values hard work, it will arrive as payment for work you have already done, work you thought was finished, work you did not know was still being evaluated. If you are someone who values connection, it will arrive through a person as a gift, as a share, as a collaborative success. If you are someone who values justice, it will arrive as a correction, a repayment, a settlement, a long overdue acknowledgement that you were right and the imbalance is being fixed. If you are someone who values creativity, it will arrive as a sale, a commission, a patron, a sudden interest in something you made and almost threw away. The form is tailored. The delivery is custom. The universe is not dropping a generic check from the sky. The universe is using your own wiring to get the money to you in a way that you cannot rationalize as luck, because it is not luck, it is accounting. It is the final balancing of a ledger that has been tilted in your disfavor for too long. And when it arrives, you are going to feel a strange urge to cry. Let yourself cry. Those are not sad tears. Those are release tears. The tears of a muscle that has been clenched for decades finally being allowed to relax. The tears of a child who was told they could not have something finally being handed the exact thing they needed. The tears of a body that has been bracing for impact finally being told that the war is over, and the war was never about money anyway. The war was about worth. And you have won. You need to do something in the next 3 days. Not something desperate, not something that looks like chasing, something that looks like opening. Check the accounts you have been avoiding. Open the mail you have been stacking. Answer the call from the number you do not recognize. Say yes to the opportunity that feels slightly too big, slightly too soon, slightly too easy. Walk past the lottery machine without buying a ticket, because that is not your channel. Your channel is the one you have already built, the one made of your own integrity, and the money is coming through that channel, not through random chance. Random chances for people who have not invested. You have invested, and the return is now. I want to speak directly to the part of you that is terrified right now. The part that is saying, this is too good to be true. This is a setup for disappointment. This is how people get hurt, by believing in things like this. I hear that part. I honor that part. That part has kept you safe, but that part is also exhausted. That part has been running the night shift of your soul for too long, and it is time for that part to rest. The windfall is not a trick. It is not a test. It is not a carrot dangled in front of you to make you run faster. It is a delivery, a package that was always meant for you that got delayed by bureaucracy, by other people's timelines, by your own hesitation to claim your space in the world. The delay is over. The package is out for delivery, and the delivery window is 3 days. Mark the time. Start the clock. Not with anxiety, but with anticipation. Not with grasping, but with gratitude. Every time you check the time in the next 72 hours, let it be a reminder that something is on its way. Let the clock be a countdown not to a deadline, but to a liberation. Let your breathing slow down. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands open. You do not need to reach for this. You only need to be ready to catch it when it falls into your lap, which it will. It absolutely will. And when it does, When the number appears, when the envelope opens, when the notification dings at exactly the moment you needed to hear it most, do not minimize it. Do not say it's not that much. Do not say, I should probably save all of it. Do not say, I don't deserve this. Say thank you. Say it out loud. Say it to the room. Say it to the source, whatever name you give it. Say thank you for seeing me. Thank you for counting what I thought was invisible. Thank you for paying me back in a language I can finally understand. Then buy the thing. Fix the thing. Pay the debt. Take the breath. Hire the help. Book the trip. Invest in the future. And keep some of it. Keep enough of it in a place that is just for you, as a reminder that you are not just a conduit for other people's needs. You are a destination. You are a recipient. You are someone worth investing in, and the universe has just made its opening offer. 3 days. I have put my name on this. I have put my voice on this. I have put every credential I have on the line to tell you that this is not a maybe. This is a when. And the when is now. Check your accounts. Check your mail. Check the spaces you have been neglecting. The windfall is already in motion. It has your name on it. And it is heavier than you think, not because of the amount, but because of the meaning. It is the weight of every time you chose right over easy. Every time you paid the price that was not yours. Every time you showed up when no one was watching. The bill has come due, and for once, the bill is in your favor. I will see you on the other side of this. In 3 days, when your life has already begun to feel different, when the air in your lungs has more oxygen, when the floor beneath your feet has stopped feeling like it is made of eggshells, when you look in the mirror and see not just someone who gets by, but someone who is supported, provided for, and finally paid what they are worth. Start the clock. I am not going anywhere. And neither is the money that is already traveling toward you like a promise kept in the dark, arriving exactly on time.